Most people measuring their compound interest right now are measuring the wrong thing. They're watching a number on a screen, and that number is moving, but not fast enough. So they feel behind, they feel like the math is broken, or worse, they feel like they started too late for it to matter. Here's what nobody told them. There is a specific moment inside every compounding journey, a precise, calculable inflection point when the entire dynamic of your wealth shifts. When your money stops being a passenger and becomes the engine. I call it the compounding crossover point. And the reason 90% of investors never reach it isn't a market problem, an income problem, or a discipline problem. It's an information problem. They never knew the crossover existed, so they quit right before it arrived. In the next 23 minutes, I'm going to show you 3 things. 1. What the compounding crossover point actually is and why the math guarantees it happens. 2. The hidden psychological trap that causes most people to quit inside the window where they should be most patient. And 3. The specific rule that lets you engineer your crossover earlier, even if you're starting after 40. This is not motivation, this is arithmetic. And once you understand it, it will permanently change how you measure your own financial progress. Stay with me. Let me start by breaking something you were taught to believe. The financial industry sold you a very clean story about compound interest. You've seen the chart. A flat line on the left. Then somewhere in the middle, a curve begins. And by the end, the line is nearly vertical. Put money in, wait, watch it grow. Simple, logical, and almost completely misleading. Because what that chart never shows you, what every financial presentation conveniently skips, is the experience of living through the left side of that curve. The flat part. The part where you've been contributing for 3 years, 5 years, maybe even 8 years, and the number on your screen looks almost identical to what it would look like if you'd never invested at all. Where your returns feel like rounding errors, where the math seems to be ignoring you. That experience has a name, and understanding it is the foundation of the compounding crossover rule. But before I give you that name, I want you to run a quick audit on yourself. Think about your current relationship with your investment account. When you check the balance, what do you feel? Confidence? Or a quiet, persistent anxiety that it isn't moving fast enough? If it's anxiety, I need you to understand something clearly. You are not experiencing a financial problem. You are experiencing a measurement problem. And a measurement problem has a precise solution. Let me define the compounding crossover point precisely. No vague language. Exact definition. The compounding crossover point is the specific year when your investment returns begin generating more money than your monthly contributions. Not a little more. More, period. The year your money works harder than you do. Before that point, you are the primary engine. Every dollar of growth in your account is mostly the result of your contributions. You put in $500. Your money adds maybe $60. You are doing 89% of the work. The compound interest is a passenger. After the crossover point, the roles reverse. Your returns begin exceeding what you put in. Your money becomes the engine. You become the passenger, and here's what makes this concept critical. That reversal is not gradual. It is geometric. Because once returns exceed contributions, they compound on top of themselves, not just on your original contributions. The acceleration becomes self-sustaining. This is mathematically why the right side of that compound interest chart goes nearly vertical. The flat line before it isn't failure. It's runway. The crossover point is where the plane leaves the ground. Now, here's what changes everything. Most retirement calculators don't show you where your crossover point is. They project a final balance, but the crossover point is a different number entirely. And knowing that number and measuring your progress toward it instead of toward a balance is the strategic shift at the center of this entire rule. Let's use real numbers. Not hypothetical, real-world math. Imagine you are 42 years old. You begin investing $500 a month into a broad index fund. We'll use 9%, the historical long-term average of the S&P 500. Year 1, you contribute $6,000. Your returns generate approximately $270. You're doing 95% of the work. The compound interest is a minor participant. Year 3, $18,000 contributed. Returns, around $1,800 for the year. Getting warmer, but you are still the engine. Year 6, $36,000 contributed. Annual returns, approximately $5,500. Your money is generating roughly $460 a month, almost matching your $500 contribution. You are approaching the crossover. Year 8, returns first exceed contributions. Your portfolio generates approximately $700 a month. You contribute $500. The engine has switched. Now watch what happens after. Year 12. Your portfolio generates $1,400 a month, nearly 3x your contribution. Year 16, $2,800 a month in returns, 5.66 what you put in. The acceleration is self-sustaining. That's the right side of the curve. That's what everyone is trying to reach. But here is the brutal arithmetic behind the failure rate. The vast majority of investors quit in years 3 through 5, at the flattest point of the runway, at the exact moment where the feedback is weakest and the patience required is highest. Statistically, most people who quit do so within 5 years of their compounding crossover point. 5 years before the plane lifts off. This is not a character failure. It is an information failure. They didn't know the crossover was coming. Nobody showed them the map. This is where I want you to stop and do something specific. Don't think about it. Actually do it. Close your eyes for 5 seconds and ask yourself this one question. If I knew with mathematical certainty that my crossover point was 18 months away, would I still be tempted to slow down, pause contributions, or withdraw? Open them. If the honest answer is no, that certainty alone would change your behavior, then you just identified your exact problem. It isn't discipline. It isn't willpower. It isn't your relationship with money. It's the absence of a visible target. Here's what's happening neurologically when you invest without knowing your crossover point. Human beings are wired for what behavioral economists call proximate feedback. We are designed to stay motivated by signals that arrive close in time to our actions. You water a plant and it grows. You train and your performance improves. The feedback loop is tight, visible, and fast. Compound interest violates that neurological contract entirely. You contribute $500 this month. The visible feedback is $41 in returns. That ratio, approximately 8% visible reward for 100% of the effort, is psychologically brutal. Over time, your brain doesn't interpret that as compounding at work. It interprets it as this system isn't working. The system is working perfectly. Your brain is measuring it wrong. And this is the hidden mechanism behind almost every early exit from a compounding journey. Not laziness, not indiscipline. A neurological mismatch between how compound interest generates wealth and how the human brain is wired to measure progress. Understanding that mismatch is the first component of the crossover rule. Every compounding journey has an enemy. It doesn't look like a market crash. It doesn't look like a fraudulent broker or a bad fund manager. It doesn't announce itself. It looks like nothing. I call it the silent phase. The silent phase is the 4 to 8 year window between when you begin investing and when your compounding crossover point arrives. During this window, the math is working precisely as designed, but the feedback is nearly invisible. The returns are real. The compounding is active. But the numbers are small enough that your brain categorizes them as insignificant. And insignificant feels identical to broken. The silent phase has ended more wealth trajectories than market crashes, bad stock picks, and high fees combined. It is the single most underestimated factor in long-term investing failure. Because nobody in the financial content space makes videos about the silent phase. Nobody buys a course called Year 4 is Still Boring. Financial influencers show you the destination. They don't show you the 4-year stretch where nothing visible seems to be happening. But here is the critical truth about the silent phase. It is not dead time. It is compounding time. Every dollar sitting in your account during the silent phase is accruing. Every reinvested dividend is being multiplied. Every month you remain in the silent phase shortens the distance to your crossover point. And every month you exit it, for any reason, resets your timeline. Not delays it, resets it. The person who contributes for 5 years and withdraws starts over at year 0, not year 5. That's not a metaphor. That's the math. Before I give you the full crossover rule, I want to ask you something. Do you know your crossover year? Not your retirement date, not your target balance. The specific year when your returns will first exceed your monthly contribution. If you don't know that number, drop a 0 in the comments right now. If you do know it, drop the year. I want to see where this community stands. Now, let me tell you about Marcus. Marcus was 44 when he started watching this channel. He had been investing since he was 38. 6 years. Consistent $400 monthly contributions into a straightforward index fund. No withdrawals. No missed months. He did everything the books told him to do. His portfolio sat at approximately $36,000. He'd contributed around $28,800. His returns were $7,200 over 6 years. The math worked out to roughly $100 a month in returns. He reached out frustrated. His message was 3 sentences. I've done this for 6 years. I have $36,000. I should have more by now. Maybe compounding is for people who started at 25. I asked Marcus one question before responding to anything else. Do you know what year your returns will first exceed your $400 monthly contribution? He didn't know. He had never framed it that way. So we ran the math together. At his current trajectory, $400 a month, 9% return, with an existing $36,000 base, his crossover point was 18 months away. His portfolio was already generating $380 a month in returns. He was $20 short of liftoff. 6 years on the runway, 18 months from takeoff. He had almost quit with the destination in sight. He didn't quit. 3 years later, Marcus's portfolio generates more per month than his contribution. The engine switched. His money became the driver. He stopped being the primary source of growth. Marcus didn't change his strategy, his fund selection, or his income. He changed one thing, his measurement system. He stopped watching balance. He started watching proximity to crossover. That single shift held him in the silent phase long enough for the math to deliver exactly what it always promised. Now let me give you the full system. 3 parts. Precise and sequential. Part 1. Calculate your crossover year. Using your current balance, your monthly contribution, and a 9% assumed annual return, calculate the specific year when your annual returns first exceed your annual contributions. This is your crossover year, not your retirement date, not a balance milestone. The year the engine switches, but the math is secondary. The mindset of measuring proximity to crossover instead of balance size is the primary transformation. Write the year down. Put it somewhere visible. Part 2. Protect the silent phase. Once you have your crossover year, treat every month before it as protected time. The rule is simple. Do not withdraw. Do not pause. Do not reset. Every interruption to the silent phase has a compounding cost, not just a linear one. Pausing contributions for 6 months at year 5 doesn't just lose you 6 months, it potentially delays your crossover year by 12 months because you've reduced the compounding base during the highest leverage period of the entire journey. Think of the silent phase like the pressurization of a system. Every interruption releases the pressure. You don't pick up where you left off. You repressurize from 0. Part 3. Engineer your crossover earlier. This is the advanced lever, specifically for anyone starting after 40. 3 variables move your crossover point earlier: contribution amount, return rate, and time. You cannot manufacture time, but you can increase contributions, even temporarily, during the silent phase. A $200 monthly increase in contributions during years 4 through 6 can pull your crossover point 12 to 18 months closer. That is not a marginal adjustment. That is potentially a full year earlier where your money becomes the primary engine. I want to speak directly to the person watching this between the ages of 40 and 55. You have heard the conventional wisdom your entire adult life. Start early. Time in the market beats timing the market. You know this. And there is a voice, quiet but persistent, that tells you it applies to someone else, someone who started at 25. Let me address that voice with numbers. A 25-year-old investing $200 a month at 9% reaches their crossover point in approximately 12 to 14 years, by age 37 or 39. A 42-year-old investing $600 a month at 9% reaches their crossover point in approximately 7 to 9 years, by age 50 or 51. Different timelines, different contribution levels, nearly identical crossover age. The late starter closes the gap through contribution leverage, not through time. And contribution leverage is available to you right now because the 40 to 55 demographic is statistically at or approaching their peak earning window. The average American income peaks between ages 45 and 54. That means your silent phase and your highest earning capacity overlap. That overlap is one of the most strategically underutilized windows in personal finance. If you deploy that earning power toward contributions, increasing your monthly investment by even 10 to 15% annually, your crossover point moves 2 to 3 years earlier. You are not behind. You are in the highest leverage period of your entire financial life. The question is not whether you started late. The question is whether you know the rule and whether you're willing to use the tools available specifically to you. One of those tools is the 2026 401k catch-up contribution limit, which I've broken down in a separate video linked in the description. If you're 50 or older, that mechanism alone can pull your crossover point significantly forward. Do not overlook it. Let me address the 3 objections that are forming in your mind right now, because I know exactly what they are. Objection 1, what if the market crashes right before my crossover point? This is the fear that keeps intelligent people sitting in cash. Here's the arithmetic reality. A 30% market correction at year 6 does not eliminate your crossover. It delays it by approximately 18 to 24 months in a severe scenario. What actually eliminates the crossover is what people do when the market drops in year 6. They withdraw. They pause. They lock in the loss and reset their silent phase to 0. A temporary market drop is recoverable. A withdrawal at the wrong moment is not. The rule is clear. Your behavioral response to a correction is more decisive than the correction itself. Objection 2. I can't contribute consistently. My income fluctuates. Then, contribute inconsistently. The research on this is clear and unambiguous. Irregular contributions to a compounding portfolio dramatically outperform no contributions. Even an alternating pattern of $100 months and $400 months preserves compounding momentum. Imperfect consistency beats perfect inaction. Always. Objection 3. My crossover point won't arrive before I retire. This is where the math gets specific. If you're 50 or older in 2026, the IRS allows a catch-up contribution of $7,500 per year above the standard $23,500 limit. If you're between 60 and 63, that number increases to $11,250, a provision specifically designed for late-stage compounding acceleration. These are legal, structured mechanisms for pulling your crossover point earlier, not theoretical, not speculative, legislated. Here is your implementation framework. 3 steps, no complexity. Step 1, find your crossover year today. Use a calculator. Input your current balance, your monthly contribution, and 9% as your assumed annual return. Identify the year when annual returns first exceed annual contributions. Write that year down in a visible location, your phone lock screen, a sticky note on your monitor. Somewhere you will see it regularly. That year is now your primary financial target, not a balance number, not a retirement age, the crossover year. Step 2, build a crossover proximity tracker. Replace your habit of checking your balance monthly with one single question. Am I closer to my crossover year than I was last month? If the answer is yes, you are winning, regardless of what the market did, regardless of what the balance shows. You are closer to the point where your money becomes the engine. This is not a motivational reframe. This is a mathematically accurate way to measure real progress. Step 3. Defend the silent phase with a rule, not willpower. Create one non-negotiable personal policy. During the silent phase, contributions happen. Market up, contribute. Market down, contribute. Cash flow tight. Find a minimum amount and contribute. Every month inside the silent phase has a precise monetary value on the back end. Every month outside it, for any reason, has a precise cost. When you understand what each month is actually worth in proximity to crossover, the discipline stops being willpower. It becomes obvious. You have been doing something right for longer than you've given yourself credit for. The months you stayed invested when the market fell. The months you contributed when the feedback felt invisible. The months you chose the long timeline over the immediate comfort of doing nothing. Those months were not wasted. They were building the runway. The crossover point is not a possibility. For anyone who stays in the silent phase, it is a mathematical guarantee. You didn't start too late. You started exactly when you were ready to understand the rule. The 5% who reach the crossover are not smarter. They are not luckier. They are simply the people who knew the system and stayed in long enough for the arithmetic to fulfill its promise. Now you know the system. Stay in. Before we wrap up, make sure you join the Trip to Wealth Command Center, a powerful Google Sheets system that brings your income, spending, investing, and net worth together in one clean, strategic dashboard. We're building it specifically for the way real people manage money. Think of it as your personal wealth HQ, a place to spot money leaks, uncover growth opportunities, track your investing habits, and use smart compound growth tools to see how small choices turn into long-term wealth. Join the early access list below to lock in your supporter discount. Every wealth plan needs a strategy. This is where yours starts. Now I need you to do one thing. Think of one person in your life who is questioning their investment plan right now, not because they made a bad decision, but because the feedback feels too slow and they're starting to believe the system is broken. Send them this video. You don't need to explain it, just send it. Because what you just learned in 22 minutes, the existence of the crossover point, the name of the silent phase, and the 3-part rule, could be the difference between that person reaching their crossover or resetting at year 0. And if this channel is giving you frameworks you haven't found anywhere else, I highly recommend watching my next video. Subscribe, because this is what we do here. Not hype, not shortcuts. Real systems for adults who are serious about the long game. Next week, I'm breaking down the $24,500 rule, the 2026 401k contribution structure, and the narrow window you have before the end of the year to use it at maximum compounding leverage. If you're between 45 and 63, that video is the most important 22 minutes you'll spend this month. I'll see you there. Remember, this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. It is important to conduct thorough research and consult with financial professionals before making any investment decisions. The value of investments can fluctuate, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Always assess your risk tolerance and investment goals before allocating your capital. And that's all for today's video. I appreciate your support more than you know. Until next time, stay consistent, stay patient, and stay winning. See you in the next one, Money Magician.